Mr. Vega. Hey, so do you want? Hey guys.
What's going on?
So you wanna you good like this though?
Yeah.
What you gotta try?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm trying to look. You can tell I don't do this. There we go.
So I wanted to say that we can get something. There we are. There we are. There we are. As I was trying to say, we gotta definitely get something so many people can be in there too, right?
There we go.
Okay. All right, guys. As you know, it's Sunday. I'm your girl Amanda Miller with 105.7 The Base, and I am here each and every Sunday at 7 p.m. So make sure you guys are tuned in to 105.7 The Base with your girl Amanda Miller, Talk.Queens on IG, and Amanda Miller Talks on Facebook. Make sure you guys have downloaded our mobile app. Go to your app store or wherever you download your apps from, and make sure you guys download the 105.7 The Phase app so you can take this music everywhere you go. You know, when you're working, tune in and listen. When you're traveling, tune in and listen. When you're in your car, tune in and listen, right? But hey, so I am here with Vegadon.
Yes.
Hey, so definitely glad to have him in my presence. You guys, I am super excited to have him tell his story, learn a whole lot about this music industry, where you're from, how your career begun.
Ooh.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a short story.
Hey, so even if it's a short story, I'm experienced enough to kind of pull and draw them questions out of them. So now, guys, I think we're gonna get there. We'll get there.
Uh-oh.
So, but yeah, so Vega, tell us first and foremost, where are you from?
I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
Richmond, VA. Born, went to school there. Spent the majority of my life there. But I've been a lot of other places, but
Okay.
Richmond, VA is home.
Richmond, VA is home. Yeah. So tell us a little about what drew you to the music industry. Why music? And before you tell me that, did you have anything else in mind prior to that?
Yes.
Hey, what was that like? But we always have this thing that we want to do or say we're going to do.
Right.
But some kind of way we get derailed and we end up doing something different. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, quite naturally, you always have dreams of doing something different. I really wanted to draw, like be an artist.
Okay, the artist.
I wanted to draw and do poetry and stuff like that.
Let me find out.
It kind of transpired into that,
okay,
but on a different level, So everything started for me with my family. My family in Richmond, my uncle, my great uncle, which is my grandmother's brother. He was a well-known radio personality in Richmond, Virginia, for a radio station called WANT. Then it changed to Magic 99 and all that other stuff. So but he used to bring me to the radio station.
Gotcha.
And I was able to meet a lot of promoters, a lot of program directors and stuff like that. And when hip hop came into Richmond, Virginia, it was around, I think it was like 1983, when Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew came to Richmond.
Right.
and that was when I was just wowed by everything. Because that was the real first hip hop concert in Richmond, Virginia, at the Richmond Coliseum back then. And it just took off from there. I learned a lot, met a lot of, like I said, a lot of promoters, a lot of people, and I just grew to love music that way.
So during your journey with music, is it that you wanted to be more on the entertainment side? Because everybody want to rap. So crazy.
Yes.
When we were little, funny enough, when we were younger, shout out to Kanita Butts, me, Mom, Dub, Sharisa, Kanita Butts, one of our childhood friends in Macon,
Mm-hmm.
and baby, Quinn. And she was a baby then, right? She was really young.
Right.
So we had her sing these little rhymes and verses. We had us this little rap group, rap songs, rap music. But man, it was just because that was the thing at that time, right? Never had the desire to be a rap artist, but at that time, that's what was going on, especially girl groups, and it wasn't a lot. So why not us?
Exactly. Why not? Why not?
And so, tell me, did you want to be on the entertainment side of things, or just always write music or promote? Like, what was your driving force?
I think my driving force was more. I wanted to be behind the scenes, but everybody was like, coming up, they was like, "Yo, you look like LL Cool J." I was like, "Huh? What?" Nah, man. So I started writing and doing poetry. I turned my poetry into rhymes.
Right.
So of course that transpired into performing on stage and stuff like that. But I learned at an early age that that's a really, really hard task. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember one show. I just got back from basic training. I went to the military. And I got back from basic training, and my homeboys was all from Philly, and they was like, "Yo, we got this show to do at this club in Richmond." I'm like, "All right." I got up on stage. I totally forgot my rhymes.
Oh no!
Our dancers in the back. The stage split and they fell in between the stage. It was a disaster. It was a disaster. So, yeah, it was a disaster. So, it was funny. It was a learning experience.
Gotcha.
That was my first learning experience about how things can go wrong in a performance and how you still gotta move on to make it look good.
So give us just a second, guys. We got to take a technical break, and we will be. No, you can left it off.
I can left it. Okay.
Gotcha, you go ahead and start it.
Gotcha.
Because I'm gonna just leave these running right here.
Okay.
And let yourself.
All right.
You want to learn?
Yeah.
Okay. Give us just a minute, guys. We are trying to multitask here with a lot of things, and so. Look, I'm all in the lab fixing my makeup, so sorry. But nevertheless, we are doing some technical difficulties, right? Well, not no technical difficulties. We got to let our engineer in the building. And so just give us a second. So sorry that we had to take this pause, but life and things happen and we'll keep it moving. Sorry. Give it just a second and we will be right back. Thank you. So these you want to hold Vegas? Now that one is just sitting up there. And I don't think his phone is gonna live. And that's okay, we'll continue with the way we're doing. Are those still rolling? Okay. Oh, things. All right, so we are back. So we are back, guys. Sorry about that, but thank you. Hopefully, we'll get y'all back on the live and things continue to roll. But yeah, the entertainment disaster with this, you getting up there, you forgetting your rhymes, stage splitting, all of that great stuff.
Yes.
So after that, tell me, like, did it deter you from wanting to continue in that path?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
It didn't. It actually made it allowed me to critique myself of what to do before I get on stage and do a performance. It went further. Doing talent shows and doing this and doing that out of town and stuff like that. So it was fun for the time being.
It's just sitting there.
It was fun for the time being, but when I really got serious about it, I had some personal things going on.
Gotcha.
I had some personal things going on, and I was like, I'm about to give up on this music thing. I couldn't do it no more. So, fortunately, I had my daughter's mom at that time. She was like, look, go do this last final talent show. Okay. If it don't work, then, you go ahead and do what you got to do. So if it wasn't for her pushing me to go do what I had to do, I wouldn't be where I'm at. And I did the talent show, and some people from Sony was there.
Okay.
and that's where everything started.
So do you tell me what do you think is the hardest part of the music industry? Because I won't say, well, I don't know, it may be different from R&B and hip hop and rap music, but what do you think is the hardest part of this industry?
The hardest part is getting started. The hardest part is seeing what you see on TV and getting the perception that, yo, I got the talent, I can do that, but you don't know what's behind that. You know, you don't know the budget that's put behind that to push you in order for you to do that. You don't know the team that it takes, the machine that it takes to create an image. The way you do, the way you perform when you go on tour, so all that takes money.
Right.
You know, and a lot of people think that just because they have the talent, they can just jump in and put the pants on and yo, I'm an artist now.
Right.
It's a little bit more than that. You know, you gotta practice your craft. It's a lot you gotta do.
Do you believe that marketing? Because I always say this about marketing, and getting your brand and your name out there. Because branding and marketing is everything.
It is.
What is the hardest part of that? Do you think it's budget?
Yeah, I think it's having the finances because you got to think about it. I've said this before. You got to compete with people that got $400,000 budgets. You know what I'm saying? And you come into this game and you thinking that all right, man, I paid $1,300. That's a lot. It is a lot. I'm not even gonna front. It's a lot when you don't have it.
Right.
But sometimes you got to work with what you got in order to get where you got to go. So you just got to keep that in mind. All right. So these cats out here on the radio that I hear right now, they working with this. How can I get somewhere close to it and still be a factor? You know what I'm saying? That's what you got to do. So that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part.
Do you think a lot of the artists? Do you think it's a lot of times we say in any career it's all in who you know?
No.
Okay.
Because I knew my uncle at the radio station. and he still told me, look, I know these people, but you still got to get in it. You still got to have that money to push yourself. When I wanted to be an artist.
Gotcha.
So you can know just about anybody. If that was the case, everybody that's in the industry right now, they have their cousins, their brothers, their sisters, their aunts, and everybody be on. And I mean, they do. Some of them have them, but it would be the industry would be flooded with everybody's families.
That is true.
That is true.
So I agree.
It's not about who you know. It's about what you can do and how you do it.
Right. Image. Let's talk about that. Image.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think a lot of people that start trying to get out there and market themselves, that their image, and we know we say we need the budget and the money,
right,
but do you think that possibly the image keeps them from being able to get to the next step?
It does, because sometimes there's an agenda. In this industry, is always an agenda. If you don't fit the agenda, of course you're gonna be overlooked until what you're doing coincides with the agenda of what the industry is trying to push. Like, I can say this freely all day long. Right now, you don't hear a lot of love in our music. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear, the R&B and stuff, woo woo, this, that, this and that. You hear a lot of separatism. The women, I'm independent, I don't need a man. The man, I don't need a woman, I'm doing this. That's the agenda that's being pushed in the industry right now. So, of course, they're going to go out and try to find an artist that's pushing that same agenda, or they're going to create an artist that's pushing that same agenda. You don't hear no more Keith Sweats and no more.
Right, and because I wonder that sometimes. I'm like, how did these people fall off? Right. Or at least, why aren't they so big anymore?
Right. It's an agenda.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? If we can get this person fighting with that person, that's gonna sell. Because we know animosity sell. Confrontation sells. And that's kind of sad, because you overlooking a lot of good artists out here that got good music.
Right.
So
absolutely. So how did you end up affiliated with Wu-Tang?
Wow. Okay, so so like I said,
I
said, after doing my stuff with Sony, I was mentally drained. Just being on the road. A lot of people think being on the road is fun, but it's work. You see the glamour and the glitz, but it's actually work. So I took a 7-year break. I had to decompress. And during those 7 years, a good friend of mine I went to school with, his name's Ron Dollar. He lives here now. He reached out to me. He was like, yo, Vega, man, I got a good connection with the vice president of Wu-Tang Management, Jimmy Kane. We want to come to Richmond. I said, well, shoot, I'll go ahead and put on the show. So I had artists. I grabbed live bands, everything from hip hop, live bands, rock, R&B, you name it. I had them at the show, and Jimmy came. I flew Jimmy in, and he checked them out, listened to them and everything, and he loved the vibe. And he, later that night, he was like, yo, Vega, I want to bring you on as an A&R. And it went from that. So it went from an A&R to director of A&R to, uh, vice president of distribution and stuff like that. To now I'm a managing partner. So, and that took course in a matter of 3 years.
Gotcha. How's the and are you still connected in that space?
Yes.
How is the show doing?
The tour is doing marvelous.
Okay.
It's doing wonders, and can't complain. All the guys are they're playing their part. Some shows are better than others.
Right, absolutely.
But as always, can't everything be perfect because we know from the backside.
Gotcha.
But everybody's doing great. I can definitely say that everybody's doing great.
So the guys from Wu-Tang, are all of those guys affiliated with on the Wu show? Like the show that they're showing as far as the program,
the
TV?
Tour and everything.
What they have on TV.
What they have on TV? You talking about like the Wu-Tang, the doctor? Yes. All of the characters are in. The majority of the characters are in there. Yes, they are.
And how's that going?
Well, right now, I don't know if there's another season that's going on and all like that. Yeah, but I mean, it's a possibility. I can't speak on it.
Right, got you. I followed it for a while, and it was really good, really dope.
It tells you the beginning, how things really start. Like, a lot of people think that things are given. No, you gotta work for it. And those fellas, they really work for it. I'm proud of them and salute to all the jokes.
Gotcha. So what's next for you?
What's next? Well, of course, everybody knows I have the Vegadon apparel. The clothing line. The clothing line. A lot of things going on with that. I'm introducing a female Vega Diva.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The female version of the clothing line, as well as the smells, the fragrances.
Cause I meant to ask when we were walking in, I was like, dang, I gotta ask Vega, what is that scent? So what is it called?
Yeah, this is called Strong Me. It's from Dubai.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I get a lot of fragrances from overseas, the UK, Dubai, and stuff like that. I like a lot of light scents and stuff like that. It's very unisex for men and women, and you always want to leave that impression. It's kind of like when you have the lady with the red dress. She was in the club with the red dress, but when you can tell what she was, when you can smell her, when you envision that red dress. That's when you really left the lasting impression.
It's a really good saying. I love it.
Indeed. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about not just your clothing, but music. What's going on for you in that direction?
Well, me personally, I've actually slowed up on working with the independent artists right now because I feel, me personally, this is me personally, the way that I'm used to doing things and how artists came up with where you sell 100 units of CDs and albums and tapes and stuff like that. The artists really got paid from it. With these streaming platforms right now, they're getting less than a penny on a dollar. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, it's depressing. So the drive for me, as far as working with artists and trying to get artists out there, it's kind of like slowed down. So I'm trying to find a different route. I'm trying to come up with something to bring that tangible item back, whether it be USB or something that the artist can actually go out and physically sell.
Gotcha.
Then they can make the full amount of money and back to making let me sell this for $10 and they get $5 off each one they sell at $10. So that's what I'm working on right now. So I kind of like I've taken a step back. I'm still doing management and stuff like that, but I want to get that part straight to where I know that these artists are going to benefit to the fullest instead of getting gypped like they are right now, as how I feel. That's not a Wu-Tang management
Right,
opinion.
that's right.
Not,
That's
nothing dealing
right.
with the Wu-Tang Clan opinion. That's Vegadon's opinion right there.
That's right.
So I
That's
just wanted that to be
right.
known.
That's right.
You know.
So let me ask you this: do you think the showcases? Do you think the art showcases were more productive then, or now? Like, do you think that showcases were able to benefit artists back when you very first, was coming up or industry, and then as opposed to the way things are now?
I think showcase cases benefited artists more back then, and I say that for a reason because back then it was very hard to get executives from labels to come and see these artists and stuff like that. Now, not to put shame on anything. Anybody be like, yo, we're gonna bring this label executive in and this that, and they can't do nothing for you no more than what the promoter has done. So it's a matter of getting real people in that can really do something for the artists that you have showcasing your show. That's a showcase for me. You know what I'm saying? That's a showcase that I need to be a part of. But when you just got somebody that's willy-nilly coming along and promising fake promises and stuff like that, that's when everybody's doing it now, is what I'm saying.
Right, that's why I asked that, because every time I look up, there's a showcase. And so if there are all these showcases.
Right. But do you hear anything about anything
after?
Right, like, did that person get signed? Did that person, do you hear them on the radio? No, but I know you guys at 105.7 The Phase, y'all are real about who y'all deal with.
Right, and so, because we try to make sure that we link them into something, like when we had the artist showcase, and link them to perform or open for Trina or open for one of the actors.
Right.
Other artists that's already out there. So it's important that even if they don't get signed, they get to open in front of a crowd and put their craft out there in hopes that somebody would see them, to be able to say, dang, they put on the show.
Right.
I need to link that person, or even the opening person that's out there.
Right.
Like, dang, they were hot.
Right. I need to take them on tour.
Absolutely. So that's always the agenda, or the plus there, to make sure we can at least help them benefit in some way.
Right. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to one of my managers, Brenda, Miss BK, out there in AZ. She's in Arizona right now. And my other manager, Cheryl, she's up in Philadelphia.
So shout out to them. Thank you definitely for doing that shout out. So for you and your management team, what are you guys trying to accomplish for you in the next couple of years?
In the next couple of years, well, I mean, it's basically the same thing. Just making sure everybody's aware of the Vegadon brand. Who Vegadon is. Everything from working on movies. I'm still in the process of filming movies right now as we speak up in Northern Virginia, Maryland area, as well as getting others started in that route. Looking outside of just the music. You gotta look into different assets of this whole thing called entertainment.
Right.
Gotta get that money. Don't seclude yourself in that box. So that's what they're working on.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this. Let's kind of double back a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about being signed. We touched on that a little bit, as opposed to being independent. What's your feeling thoughts? Let's talk about that.
I mean, being signed is good, because you don't have to come out your pocket with too much.
Okay.
But at the same time, being signed to the right people where you have more creative control and say so of what you can do, that's the best way to get signed. That's the best route to go when you're signed. I'm not going to say don't go out there and get signed. You got to think about it. You got Universal, you got you got Universal, you got Sony, excuse me. You got Universal and Sony. They basically dominate. Saying the music industry. So people's like, I don't want to be signed, but yeah, they control the radio. Saying? They control the radio. Saying? They control everything unless you go on completely independent. So when I say I'm not saying don't get signed. I'm saying, yeah, if you get signed, make sure it benefits you.
Right.
Don't get caught up in a trap where you stuck into something and you getting screwed out of your royalties and read the paperwork. Make sure you have a lawyer to look over.
I was just about to say, do you think that happens because they're so excited that they don't have people to look over their stuff, such as an entertainment attorney or something like that?
Exactly. I hear people right now, they be like, yo, I just got signed to Def Jam. I just got signed to so-and-so. And I'm just using these names as an example. Yeah, okay, so when are you going to be released? Because you can get signed all day and be on a roster for 3, 4, 5 years. You know what I mean? And hear nothing from you. Right. So it's all in what you're getting out of the situation. Make sure the deal benefits you. As far as being independent, make sure you got that money, that budget in order to compete with what's going on out here is what I'm saying. So
because I hear people saying independent all the time. And don't get me wrong, because I'm not hardcore into the rap music, so I don't follow it. So a lot of it to know who's out there. But some of these people who I'm hearing saying independent, I never hear their music, and that's why I asked them.
Right. And that's because they don't have the budget. Or if they do have the budget, something happens along the way, they get this and this, and then they get big headed, and then before they put themselves out, they want to go ahead and have other artists up underneath them and all. It just turns into a hot mess. Secure your bag first and then move forward, is what I say, if you want to be independent. If you got the money to be independent. Right. If not, there's nothing wrong with a deal. Just make sure that deal benefits you.
That's right. That's right. Hip hop, your opinion, female artists and groups. Why do you think it's so hard and it's some out there now, definitely. Of course, we had some back in the days, such as the Latifahs and give me some names, help me out.
Bonnie Love,
Light, that Sonic Pepper. So we had the waves, then it died down. Like my God, it died down, and then all of a sudden we come back with the Cardis and the Nickies and it's a boom.
Right. It's the agenda.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So we know we got the strong black queens and everything. That's independent women and everything. Now let's bring sex into the factor. So that's the agenda. That's what I mean by every so often there's an agenda to be pushed when it comes to the entertainment industry. Everybody has an agenda. So if you don't fit that agenda at that point in time, no matter what you say, you sound good as I don't know what, but that agenda is not going to be pushed at that point in time.
Gotcha. So do you think the industry aren't more receptive to sign a bit or either push, whether it's independent, whether it's somebody being signed female artists before male?
I think I think they're going more towards the females now because the females can do either or. For instance, you got Scarlett out here in New York. She's come off hard. What I'm saying, like with that attitude and everything. But then you got the ones that they got the ratchetness going on. What I'm saying, you got the ones that talk about sex and what they can do and what they don't do and what they like and what they showing. It's like
right.
It's just like I said, it's always an agenda, and that seems to be the agenda right now. And more females are catering towards that agenda. So let's go ahead and groom these females to go ahead and keep it on, continue on pushing that agenda, because you got the young people looking, these teenage young females, they looking, okay, that's my role model right now. Let me go more and be like her. We don't want to push the agenda that they got to be strong, independent. Why? Not saying that they're not strong, and not saying that they're not, wise and everything. But when you see somebody on TV making millions of dollars talking about their bottom and their hips and all this other stuff, what you think is going to sell?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
sort of how they say sex sells.
Yeah, exactly.
And definitely, in fact, we mentioned that image. Rivals.
Right.
Rivals. Do you think it's really the industry? Do you think it's the fans? Or do you think it's the artists themselves that put themselves in positions, whether male or female, to have this kind of rival in beef with each other? Or is it the coast, the regions where they are, demographics?
I think it's just society right now.
Okay.
They're more acceptable to the things that's going on right now. Pushing it, back in the day, you couldn't even see a rated R movie. Parents be like, "Yo, get out the room." Now you can go to CVS and see a man's bottom. You know what I'm saying? Taking a shower. You can see it's more. Things are more open nowadays, and more topics are being discussed now in the households and stuff like that, or not being discussed in the household, and they're making it more acceptable to accept things like, but where's the privacy? There's no more privacy right now. So let's extort that.
Right. What would you tell, or what would be the very first piece of advice you would give some of the artists that's trying to make it in the industry? Let me just say this. So I followed Baby's story that he has out about his biography, like how he didn't want to do music. Lil Baby, how he didn't want to do music and that wasn't his thing. And they pushed him. His manager, like they wanted Baby to make music.
Right.
And once he did, and it's like he took off.
Right.
So, what would you tell these young fellas or anybody that wanted to be in the music industry for somebody who really wants to do it and and are passionate about it? What would be your first piece of advice?
Don't fall for everything you see.
Okay.
Definitely do your research on everything and everybody that you deal with to know what you're getting into. Know the difference between a distribution deal and a record deal. Know the difference between.
Okay, so let's talk about that because I'm clueless. So tell me a little bit, and we don't have to go into all these
you could.
Details. But what's that difference?
Like the difference between a distribution and a record deal. A distribution deal. Oh, I'm sorry. I wouldn't say a record deal. I would say a recording deal. A distribution deal is basically you supplying the music to the distributor, and the distributor is putting it out there into the world for you to build up your fan base and stuff like that. That's distribution. You don't get any money from that. A recording deal, some people give people money, some people don't. But a recording deal is somebody actually putting you in the studio and allowing you to record. They hold some type of percentage of royalties off of your recording because they fronted you to put you in the studio. They paid for your studio time, so those songs actually belong to them. A percentage of those songs belong to them, or all of the songs belong to them until they're able to recoup the money off of putting you out there. With a record deal, of course, that's basically the simple thing where a label will come to you and be like, hey, we're gonna give you 30, 40, 50 $million. I'm just throwing numbers out there to produce X, Y, and Z, a number amount of albums in 5 years, and they got we want to try to recoup our money back, but they throwing you that money in front in advance. So that's the difference between all of that.
Okay, so we would say first and foremost, know the difference between those things and what would be next.
Right. Get your paperwork right. Make sure you got your BMI and your ASCAP and all your publishing is straight. It'll be sad to go into a situation and not and allow people to take over or take control of something, and you think you get paid off of it, and the stuff is going to their bank account. Make sure you know who you're dealing with, what you're dealing with. Get an entertainment lawyer involved to read all the paperwork, because you can easily sign away your rights and not even know it. You can sign away your royalties and your music, and you don't even know it.
So you say BMI.
BMI,
ASCAP. What does those things do for the artist?
Those are
because I've heard of them and definitely know what it's for, but what does that do?
Right, they deal with their mechanical royalties and stuff like that.
To make sure
like when their stuff is played on the radio, or their stuff is even the other entities, when you get your royalties from your sales and stuff like that, and your streams and stuff like that. Make sure your paperwork is straight.
Gotcha.
Before you go out here and perform, before you put an album out, before you go and put your music on the radio, because you may have did 15 million songs, or you did 15 songs and your stuff spun on the radio, but you're not receiving all your royalties.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta know, get your paperwork in order before you go out here and putting your image out there and somebody rob you blind. Because that's how you get a bad taste in your mouth, and then you be like, "Oh, so and so did me wrong." No, they didn't do you wrong. You just didn't do your research.
And you didn't do your homework.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And then performing. So performing on, so having people to come and perform. Mm-hmm. I'm understanding is most of the biggest part of their salary, so to speak, if you want to say. Right. Because I hear that music, yeah, you can give your music played all the time, but if you're not really doing a lot of these shows.
Right. But that's
Hey, let's talk about that, and maybe there's some misconceptions there.
Right. I mean, well, you definitely got to do shows, but you want to do shows that you're gonna get paid for. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How do you get paid? You got to have a fan base. It's kind of like doing business. Say you're the club owner of a club in the neighborhood, and Joe Schmo comes to you and be like, hey, Amanda, pay me $1,500 to perform, and I'm gonna pack this place. You pay them $1,500. And then bring four people come through. You done just lost out as a business deal. You know what I'm saying? So when artists sit up here and say, look, I need to get paid to perform. Okay, what type of following do you have?
That's right.
If you don't have a following, there's no need for me to bring you to my club.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can't pack my club if I put, hey, so-and-so performing here tonight. If you can't pack my club, then I'm not going to pay you.
Got you. Makes sense.
It's all in business, and that's another misconception that a lot of artists have. They feel like just because they got the talent, their music is hot, their grandmother done told them they hot, their homeboys in the neighborhood done told them they hot and everything.
Because everybody can sing the lyrics,
yeah,
right?
Everybody can sing the lyrics. that they should go ahead, you need to pay me to perform, man, because everybody told me I'm hot.
Right.
You in one state. There's 49 other states out here, and then overseas. Do they know you? If they don't know you, then stop wasting my time.
But no, that's real though.
Yeah.
Because you can be hot locally where you are, but what have you done to market yourself to that people know you elsewhere?
Right.
And how do you think the biggest way? Because I know that there's not a cookie cutter formula, but what do you think is a crossover for that?
I think you got to start off with distribution. Okay. Distribution will allow you to stay in one place and be heard all over. And then you take your analytics from your music being distributed, and you see where you're doing the most sales at. If you live in Atlanta and you're doing people listening to your music over here out west more, but you're doing shows in Atlanta, you're wasting your time.
Okay.
You need to go ahead and do those shows out west. Gotcha. That's how you analyze where your sales are. Mm-hmm. And then while you're doing those shows out west, you work on the formula of how to build up your fan base where you're from, or on the East Coast. You follow what I'm saying? That's the whole purpose of distribution, to allow you to see where you're doing the most sales, the most streams, who's listening to you more, the demographics, whether it's females, males, ages 18 to 23, 23 to 20, you know what I'm saying, on up. So you got to know who you're targeting when you put your music out. When you just do willy-nilly, I'm going to do all these shows here in Atlanta, but you got more sales and more streams over here, you're wasting your time in Atlanta. You need to go over there and grab that money. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole purpose of distribution, and I think that's the starting point for everybody.
Do you have any questions out there? No. Okay. So for this, pivot and come back to you.
Okay.
I know you say you took a break, but are you looking to future forward, invest or take on artists?
Maybe in the future. Once I figure out the formula on how the artists can get more money in their pocket, instead of paying these streaming platforms and stuff like that, I would slide back in.
Do you think they're benefiting from the streaming platforms?
Honestly, no.
Okay. I mean, and that's what we want. I mean, because where one may think so, someone else may think not, and that's okay.
Because you think about it, back then, you put CDs out, artists get paid, pay to produce and all that. They get maybe $7 per CD. You sell 1 million copies, that's $7 million. Right. You do 1 million streams now, you're getting almost $1,000. Well, that don't add up. It don't add up to me. You know what I'm saying? That the drive is lost with all that with me. So that's just, once again, this is me personally.
Right.
This is me. This isn't Wu-Tang Management's way of thinking. This is Vegadon's way of thinking. Until things get better, I'm gonna just sit back and find out a way to make it better.
That's right. So let's talk a little bit about the Beehive.
The Beehive. Mm-hmm. live from the Beehive. Well, honestly, I haven't really did anything with that because I was waiting to get things situated here at 105.7 The Phase in order to bring the Beehive live from the Beehive, you know what I'm saying, into full effect. And we working on that. It's in motion.
It's in motion. So you guys be on the lookout for the Beehive because it's coming.
Yes, live from the Beehive. Vegadon.
Right. Right. And we always got some honeybees.
Oh yes.
Your honey in the bee.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. So this clothing, where can we find it? Let's talk about the clothing brand and things of that nature.
Right now, I've kind of like I shut down the website for right now because I'm building a portfolio to add the fragrances in with it.
Okay.
But it'll be back up and running. It was www.vegadonapparel.com. I will give it to like the end of this year before I have the full clothing line for the females and the males, whether it's casual, whether it's sportswear, hats, socks, you name it, the whole nine, down to the shoes.
So down to the shoes.
Down to the shoes. I want Vegadon apparel to be more than just sportswear, the jogging suits and stuff like that. I want you to be able to throw on a Vegadon button up, walk out, walk down the street. I want the ladies to be able to throw on them dresses with the slits going up the sides and stuff like that. Something casual. But all white parties, all black parties, the red. You know what I'm saying? All types of colors. Come in all types of flavors. That's how I want it.
Gotcha. So what's your plan? So we talked a little bit about you, Virginia, right?
Yes.
Going back to Virginia.
Yeah, I'm heading back up to actually Maryland.
Maryland, that's what we said. Maryland.
Yes.
What's your plans?
Plans once I get to Maryland, in the next 60 days, I'm planning on moving back up to Maryland. Just to go full gun, and I got a couple of movies on the table right now, a couple of scripts on the table and stuff like that I'm preparing for to read for and stuff like that. So that's the main plan. Just focusing on Vega and getting the brand and the image out there a little bit more and bringing whoever I can with me.
Okay.
That's how it is.
And of course,
exactly
whether they're here, 105.7 The Face is always on your team.
You know it.
Scripts to read. So, are you looking to do movies as far as acting or producing or directing?
Acting.
Okay.
Actually, I was in a film. What was it? A year and a half ago, we filmed it. It's in reference to human trafficking.
Okay.
To bring more awareness to human trafficking. Actually, the premiere for that was this weekend, but we had to push it back a little bit because of the scheduling and stuff like that. But it will be revealed and released here soon. I can't speak on everything dealing with that.
I was just about to say, can we get a name drop or okay?
But I do play the FBI director in it, and it's going to be like 10 more episodes of it.
So it will be continuous. It'll be like a series.
Yes, a series.
Okay.
And I have 2 other movies on the table right now, and a sitcom as well with Mr. Reggie Ballard. Everybody knows him as a brother man from the 5th floor. So.
Brother man from that.
Right. Shout out to Reggie. Shout out to Corleone Records. You know what I'm saying? Todd Hunt. Swella, all you guys that's making things happen. Definitely I'll be on the lookout for.
That's right. So my boys, Chris Hughes, Locked Up.
He just joined.
Did it?
He just joined. That's crazy. He just joined.
Shout out to Locked So, of course, another actor, definitely for one of your movies. So we got Vegadon on here, and so definitely shout out to you. So so Locke has trust issues that's out on Tubi, and Loyalty Over Blood. It's coming. So that will be coming soon. Quinn and I kind of did a little premiere, a little cameo in that movie. So we were invited out to kind of do a little shoot. So we look forward to our Friday Max.
Indeed.
Yeah. And so, I definitely try to link that. Because Locke is really good about pushing us, many African Americans, since Christian brothers, building a legacy where we're trying to make sure we connect, collaborate, and that's the one thing I do like about him because as we know, Chris mentioned it too when he was here. It'll always be a competition, but competition or not is healthy competition.
Right.
Where still we can all make sure everybody.
Right, indeed, indeed. And it helps you sharpen yourself.
I told him, iron sharpen iron.
Yes, it does.
You know,
yes,
definitely. And so I want to make sure that we're always plugging and having people say,
like Dollar said, you guys are his bodyguards.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we ain't playing with it either.
They don't joke. They don't joke at all.
Absolutely. So, yeah, shout out to Locke for ensuring that we able to, Cash and I was able to have that opportunity to be in this movie. But also, too, they'll be here too. The Making Dolls, they're making music as well.
Okay.
So definitely something.
Let me know. Keep me posted.
Absolutely. Again, collaboration.
I'm here. Right
you know,
now.
So absolutely. So I mean, what else would you like to share with us? Well, the audience.
I mean, besides, what I'm saying, like a lot of people have a misconception in the sense that, when it comes to Wu-Tang management, I've said this before in other interviews. When the clan comes together, that's when Wu-Tang management is involved, whether it's with the shows or the after parties and stuff like that. Make sure everything is taken care of. But each individual member have their own management team.
Okay.
So
interesting. As big as they are.
A lot of people come and be like, yo, Vega, can you get me into the Method Man show? And I'm like, I can reach out to the manager. I can reach out to the manager and stuff, see what's going on. But I can't promise you that. But it's definitely we're all family. It's good. I just wanted to clarify that because a lot of people are like, yo, Vega, you don't even answer my phone when Randy Meth Man is here. I'm like, why? I can call over there and see what's going on, but the promoter got to say so. And that's another thing. When a promoter purchases a package or pays for them guys, it's out of our hands. It's the promoter. He don't pay for them. That's on him if he want to, let a few people in for free or whatever the case may be. So I just had to say that.
Well, I understand that, but no, seriously,
I just had to say that. So.
No, I can get it. Even when, Lord Jesus, help me, I went blank. I did. I went totally blank on the name. But Yola, even when Yola was hot here in Atlanta with his song Ain't Gonna Let Up, and Quinn and him had their thing going on, people would say, hey, I hear Yola is gonna be da 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 or whatever. I mean, they date, they're married, they got their thing going on with. Right. He got his manager. We can't just be like,
just say, we
come on in. Right. So I get it. Definitely. And Wu is big, so Yola here local, and when Wu is big, so certainly I get it. And that's what people have to understand. You gotta know that. Yeah, you may know people that know people, or even connected with them within the industry or the circle, but it's not that simple.
Right, it's not.
Because these people got to eat. If they let everybody in,
that's money out the promoter's pocket. Promoter paying $60K or above for an artist to be there, and he let everybody in for free. How you gonna make his money back?
That's right. Absolutely. It's a business. I was just going to say, you have to understand, it's not that people don't want to look out for you, that they're being funny, that they're acting a certain kind of way. It is definitely a business.
Right.
And of course, hey.
Shoot, we have hard time. The executives have a hard time getting in sometimes. It's like, we were in DC and it was just like, I was like, yo, Mook, I'm here. He was like, hold on for a minute, G. I'm trying to get things straight. They as soon as I got in, they was like, they wouldn't even let me up back there in the back because the promoter was beefing with the venue.
Right.
So the venue had rules. The promoter had say so to let us do whatever, but the venue was like, no, y'all can't do that. So it's a lot of politics going on in between all this stuff.
Right.
There's a lot of politics going. It was a couple of shows they wouldn't even let Young Dirty in. Gotcha. Old Dirty Bastard Slim. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't let them in. So it was like, yo, all right, it is what it is. So, we try to do our best and deal with the politics as we go along. So don't be mad at us.
Is there a lot of, do you see a lot of politics in the music industry?
You do. Yeah, it's a lot of politics. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it is almost everything is political.
I want to ask you a question then, now that I asked you that. Okay, so let's say you got a lot of pop artists, right? Because if we know Baby is big right now, right? So if Baby is having, if there's a concert, 9 times out of 10, Baby's gonna, do you think Baby's gonna be the headliner? He's gonna be the person that comes out. The only reason why I asked this is because I went to a concert and it was a lot of big people on it. It was Jeezy, T.I., Rick Ross, Trina, Gucci Man. And for me, in my mind, the person who I thought probably would have let off, which is T.I., because the concert was here, but it didn't. So, like, how does that work, though?
So you talking about as far as starting the concert off?
Right.
No, you always say the best for last. I mean, I wouldn't say the best, but you say
so
the main.
Was middle.
Who came on? Who came to the show?
I think Rick Ross, if I'm not mistaken.
And that's probably because Ross has the car shows. He has a lot of things going on here. You know, it also is once again politics because.
That's why I asked that. I'm like, that was kind of weird to me.
If that artist is bringing revenue to the city, you know, you think about they bringing people in the hotels, everybody, rental car people getting paid, whatever name brand is bringing more revenue to the city, that's who's going to kick it off. That's just like Pharrell. Pharrell was bringing something to the water concert at Virginia Beach. You know, he was packing the hotels. The city of Virginia Beach was getting paid. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he brought some friends with him, Jay-Z. He brought a lot of people with him that just set everything off. So when you cater to the city or the county or whatever the case may be that you're doing events in, they're going to look out for you.
Yeah.
They definitely going to look out for you.
Makes sense. And I had always wondered that, and when we start talking about politics, I was like, maybe that had something to do with it, but that definitely makes sense as far as how that lineup typically would run. Or I was thinking to myself, did they discuss this? Like, hey, so like, hey, I'm good with you going last or first or whatever that looks like. You know?
Exactly. So yeah, that's mainly what it is. Whoever's the hottest right there, and the hot ticket right at the point in time, they bring it through. I would have thought T.I. would have won last too. So.
Yeah, I was like, that was weird to me. But hey, when Tip came out, it definitely.
You rocked it.
Oh, always. This is the hometown.
Was that the one with the? I think it was the mayor. It was a free event.
No, actually, this was at no.
For the 50th.
The 50th.
Got you. So this was last year. Okay. This was last year. I don't even know. I want to say Jeezy came out first.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
You bring Jeezy to Virginia Beach, it's shut down. Jeezy came to Virginia Beach, it was shut down. Like
I can believe it. I can believe it.
Northwood was packed.
Okay. Like, and we'll get ready to kind of wrap it up. And so, like, and like you just mentioned about Jeezy. Jeezy is one of those artists, and it's many others, that even with his catalog, he is going to pack out a place because music was hot, and still a Jeezy song can get a crowd rolling. Just like, of course, Dual and Methods and some of the others within that group. What's your opinion? Because we always talk about opinions.
My opinion.
What keeps longevity music when people are making music? And I'm gonna go back to Yola. Yola had that one hit here in Atlanta. Yola, and if you don't know, we're talking about Yola the Great. Shout out to you, Yola's family. No matter what, I got a guy friend in Jersey. He says even in Jersey that song was hot. I ain't gonna let up. With that song still gets the club hopping today. What is it that people have to have that in that music that gives it that like a Jeezy that no matter what, long years to come, that music can still get it jumping?
I think it's a combination of the delivery of the lyricists, as well as what they're saying, as well as the track itself. That combination has to be married together. You have to have all three in order to have a hit. That's going to you when you make a hit, you make something that people just sitting in that car and they gonna say it. They cooking in the kitchen, they cleaning up and around the house, or they in the shower. That's a hit. When you got people saying the hook and they recite the verses or recite the lyrics, you know you got one, and that's the type of music that creates that longevity.
It makes sense because I'm like, sometimes people can have a song and it's a good song, but once it's dead, it's dead. You see what I'm saying?
The hot joints that I like right now is Lil Durk. Okay. All My Life. Okay. That joints featuring J. Cole. Okay. That is a hot song.
I think that we'll hear that 10 or 15 years from now too.
Yeah, that is a hot song. Okay. You got the kids in the background, right. The chorus.
And we all can resonate with it. All My Life.
All My Life. So you can resonate with that, like you said. I think that's the hit.
So we're gonna say it again for all of you guys that's out there trying to make music and be the artist. Let's say again what blends that for longevity.
You have the marriage. You have to have the track. You have to have the lyrics, and you got to definitely the track and the lyrics, and you know what you're actually saying, what's the point that you're trying to get across. How you can grab people's attention. It's got to be relatable. Somebody they got to relate to what you're saying, not just talking a bunch of whatever. Like, okay, that sounds good.
Right.
Okay, that sounds good.
Benson Robinson said that Yola song was a worldwide hit.
Right. That's what I was talking about. Absolutely. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, Vincent. Because, yeah, you're right. Thank you for that. Because Vince used to tell me all the time. He was like, man, because during that time, and I don't know if you knew that, Baby and Yola was together and they ended up getting married or whatever have you. But, yeah, Vince used to call me all the time and say, oh, your boy Jordan is jamming up here in Jersey. So, yeah.
So, I got the book. She sent me the book when
got
you.
When she wrote the book. Got you. So, yeah. So, shout out to Shane over there, Alan Temple. Shout out to you. Salute to you because that's Yola's brother. So, definitely salute to you.
He came back to say it's a difference in a hot song and a worldwide anthem.
It is. It definitely is. You know, something that you can play for, like Ice Cream by Wu-Tang. You can play that anytime, anywhere. Everybody, like, boom, yeah, we in it.
Yeah.
Open up the club. So, yeah.
So what would you say on closeout? Because we are rounding this thing up. So, Mr. Vega, I am going to let you close this thing out about anything you want to say about music, your clothing line, everything that you want to say. I'm going to let you wrap this thing up.
I think we pretty much touched everything. You know, I'm a man of surprises, so I don't speak too much on things. I like to let it happen. You know what I'm saying? I like to show you better than I can tell you. That's my main thing. But I appreciate you having me on. I feel honored finally.
Look, he said he honored.
I was like, look, when you gonna bring me on the show? Like, I feel bad because I gotta ask you when you gonna bring me on the show while I'm here.
But here's the thing. I knew that he'd be very busy. So I was very honored that he did reach out and say, hey, what's the deal? Like, I need to get on the show. Like, now they had me on the show yet, but I know that he's busy and everything. But hey, it's never too late. And then I look for many more to come. Indeed. Of course, anytime that you when the brand comes back out and you've been rocking it, I definitely look forward to you being able to come back and talk about it and everything.
Will do.
You guys make sure you hit us up so that we can get you connected when baby is back in the business of these artists. Any advice, guys, if you need it from us, reach out to us. If he can get you some information, we'll definitely make sure we get it out there to you. Just hit me in my inbox. And then don't forget, download the 105.7 The Phase app.
Yes.
Your girl Amanda Miller at Talk.Queen. So make sure you're following me on that. And Amanda Miller Talks on Facebook. Vega, what's that plug for your IG?
Yo, my IG, Vegadon Official #2. Follow me on that. And of course, you can Google me. I always tell people I'm like a bag full of dirt. It ain't hard to find me.
Absolutely. So, guys, this is my edition of this Sunday.